This is the Horse Radio Network. This is episode 402 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you one day at a time. Today's tip is sponsored by Equestrian Collections, for the entire universe of equestrian shopping at your fingertips at a price you can afford at equestriancollections.com. Hi, everybody. Glenn the Geek back with you from Lexington, Kentucky, and you're listening to Horse Tip Daily. Welcome back. I've been appreciating, and I wanted to thank everybody for all the emails that have been coming in and posts on Facebook about how much you're enjoying Horse Tip Daily. I know that the download numbers certainly indicate that, and I'm glad you're enjoying this little show we do over here every day. Well, today we have back with us Shawna Karrasch, who is well known as the Clicker Lady, or on developing the method she calls on-target training. It's used by professionals and Olympic caliber riders as well as amateur riders. She also appears fairly regularly on our Horses in the Morning show, on the live show in the morning, with some good conversations over there as well. And Shawna is going to be sharing some of her training knowledge with us today, and we appreciate her taking time out of her busy schedule to join us here on Horse Tip Daily. And we're going to be right back with Shawna right after I say it's spring. You're getting your stuff out, you're looking at it, and you're going, oh my gosh, this clothing I had from last year for the shows this year is not looking so good. Or your tack, it's not looking so good, your show tack, or just your riding stuff in general. You're getting out all of that spring and summer stuff after the winter, and it's getting a little bit warmer now, and you're starting thinking about riding more, and you're realizing you got to replace some of that stuff. Well, the place to go is EquestrianCollections.com. EquestrianCollections.com has all of the products that you're going to need for you, for your horse, for your kids, for your husband, everything you're going to need right there at EquestrianCollections.com at a price you can afford, and their selection is unbeatable. They have all the top names in clothing and horse sheets and summer sheets and things like that. Anything you're going to need in the way of tack, you can find at EquestrianCollections.com. Stop on over there today before you go somewhere else. And now, Shawna Karrasch. Well, hi, Shawna, and welcome back to Horse Tip Daily.
Well, hi, Glenn. It is great to be here as usual.
I wanted to remind everybody that they can listen to all of Shawna's tips just by going back to the website at horsetipdaily.com. On the left-hand side of the page, we have a drop-down menu of all the experts, and you can find Shawna Karrasch and just go to her page, and you can listen to all of her tips right in a row. And you've done a number of them with us, and we certainly appreciate you helping us out here at the Horse Radio Network. So what are we
it's a pleasure.
What are we going to talk about today?
Well, today is it's a grooming tip, and it is my number one grooming tool that I love most of anyone in the world. It's about vacuuming.
Okay.
Now, I know that there's vacuums out there, and they're, I think, kind of one of the
deterrent. I assume you're talking about horse vacuums.
Yes, exactly,
okay.
Horse vacuums. So vacuuming our horse as a grooming tool. And what I love is I love to curry them, really good with everything, and, it brings all that dust and dirt and stuff to the surface, and then it can take forever to get it off with the brushes after you curry. And frankly, sometimes the brushes get so dirty you feel like you're just displacing it. You're just moving it from the front end to the back end. So, but what works great is after I curry and bring all that stuff to the surface, I use a vacuum, and it sucks right down to the skin and takes away mud. It takes away dirt. It's just a great training tool. But what I think is a big deterrent is the horse vacuums are really pretty expensive.
Yeah,
and
they're
like
like
pretty,
hundreds of dollars.
Yes, they're like $600-$700,
Yeah.
and they're wieldy. They're heavy, and it's, you're not going to kind of schlep it around if you're bringing it out of your grooming closet or whatever you might be doing. But I have found, and I've used these for years, and they work great, I just get like a wet, dry shop vac. And then I will go to, one of the, distributors of where you can buy tack and stuff, or just look for it, Google it. Look for the hose attachments for the horse vacuums. So I buy the horse attachments, and then I will hook it up to my shop vac. And sometimes you have to alter it a little bit. You got to do a little bit of fussing or a little bit of duct tape or something. But you can use. So I use those hoses, hook it up to the shop vac, and the shop vac works great. You can get different sizes. It just does a really good job. The only thing I'd say that the shop vac is going to be, and depending on what size you get, you don't need the biggest one ever. But they're a little bit noisy, so they're a little bit more noisy.
I was just going to say, if you had the Hackney pony I had, he would have been in the next county if we ever tried to vacuum him.
But, it's not hard to desensitize them. It's if you just use, the basic, I do a lot of spooking and desense work for things like the tarps and gunshots and, things that are noisy, loud, startling things, and I will just desensitize them to it. And the vacuum is not a hard thing to desensitize them to at all. I've started with ones that are really, really spooky, and they just get over it really pretty fast using positive reinforcement. So it's really not that hard, and you can get it where they come right up and want to be vacuumed. But it is just, I think, the biggest shortcut with grooming. And it's a thorough, sometimes shortcuts mean not as good, just looks good. It is a thorough way to get your horse clean. So I love that.
Now, you said, do they make special, you said the hoses and stuff. Are they special hoses for horses, or what are you using there?
Yes, they are. They're the ones that go with the expensive vacuum.
Ah, so you're just buying the hoses for the expensive vacuum and putting them on your cheap shop vac. I see. Okay, gotcha. And they fit the same size?
I think you could probably use just the regular old hoses that they have, like the ones that they use for like car interiors that are kind of flat and longer.
Yep.
I think you could probably just use one. They would probably just break down a little bit sooner, but no big deal. Those little shop vacs are really inexpensive as it goes. So, and light,
okay,
so they're
gotcha.
great.
All right, well, that's good to know. Well, so if you want to vacuum your horse, you just cobble one together. I like that idea. You're right. You'll pay more for the hoses than you will for the shop vac.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. All right, good. Well, thank you, Shawna. And, of course, people can find out more about you at AskShawna.com. And if they want to hear you talked about positive reinforcement, if you want to learn more about positive reinforcement, just go to AskShawna.com, or you can go we have talked about positive reinforcement with Shawna a couple times on Horse Tip Daily here, and they can go back and listen to those previous tips. Well, thank you, Shawna.
Thank you, Glenn. It's a pleasure.
Well, I do have to say, we talk about everything and anything here on Horse Tip Daily, and I guess that's what makes it so much fun. You take today's tip and you deal with it, or you don't deal with it, or you like it or you don't like it, and you go on to the next one. That's why we have 402 tips so far. It's hard to believe. I started this little show, Horse Tip Daily, way back when, and I said, I'll just do a little tip every day. And I thought, a few hundred people would listen. I never thought tens of thousands of people would listen. But they are, and I appreciate you listening, and I appreciate you sticking with us every day. I hope you enjoy. I'd love to hear from you. Glenn with 2 N's at horseradionetwork.com. Do you like the show? Would you like to hear something different? Would you like to hear a different expert? Do you have a question that we can answer? And we're going to be doing that and in a couple of the tips coming up. So we would love to hear your questions and your emails as well. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Wear your helmet and enjoy your ride.
The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.